Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the channel. We're diving into our book, Alchemic Awakening, From Crisis to Calling. If you've ever felt like life's breaking points might be breakthroughs in disguise, this is for you. We'll explore how what looks like a mental health crisis can sometimes be a spiritual awakening. But with a crucial reminder, always stabilize the crisis first before discerning the deeper call. Grab your tea and let's unpack this together by turning crisis into coherence. May the spiral of your crisis turn inward, gentle as breath between heartbeats, until it touches the center where Source waits, not as judgment, but as homecoming. May the lead of old wounds melt in the fire of consent, the frequency soften into gold, the ancestral echo sing its release, and the calling rise like dawn through the veil. You are not broken. You are the bridge being built. Walk it. We walk it with you. Already. It's not born in a quiet study, but forged in real crisis. My own, and the collective one we all carry. For years, I lived with chronic illness that no diagnosis fully contained. The medical world offered labels, protocols, pills. But the deeper fracture remained. A nervous system that never felt safe. An ancestral thread pulling tight with echoes I couldn't name. Crisis wasn't just illness. It was the call to remember what had been forgotten. I've seen this in so many stories. People presenting in what looks like a mental health crisis. Intense anxiety, disconnection, overwhelming emotions. And yes, sometimes it is a mental health issue needing immediate support. But often, it's a spiritual awakening in disguise. The key? First, address the crisis. Stabilize with professional help. Therapy, medication if needed, safety nets to ground the body and mind. Only then can we discern, is this diagnostic distortion or a deeper alchemical process? Rushing to label it spiritual without stabilizing can be dangerous. Ignoring the spiritual layer can leave the root. In part 1, The Crucible of Crisis, we trace the fractured field of mental health, a history of control. From shamans and bridge walkers pathologized as mad, to healers committed to wards, eugenics, abandonment, and the legacy of broken threads. We explore how difference becomes defect, when spiritual experiences like visions or ancestral echoes are misdiagnosed as psychosis or disorder. A foundational insight comes from West African Dagara shaman, Malidoma Patrice Somé, who, during a 1980 visit to a U.S. psychiatric ward, observed patients exhibiting symptoms strikingly similar to those recognized in his tradition as signals of the birth of a healer. In Dagara culture, intense visionary states, emotional upheaval, and apparent possession are understood as a spiritual crisis in which entities from the other world attempt to merge with the individual to deliver messages or gifts to the community. When supported adequately through communal ritual, this process births a healer who serves as a bridge between worlds. Somé described the ward patients, some in straitjackets, others heavily medicated and screaming, as healers who are attempting to be born, being tragically wasted by a culture that treats the process as illness rather than initiation. The suppression of these energies through medication and isolation aborts the birth of the healer and perpetuates the initial energetic disorder. Think of it. Indigenous traditions honored these as callings, but colonial systems labeled them illness. In my experience, and in the stories we share, crisis is the forge. It's not punishment. It's the pause where lead becomes gold. But we must stabilize first. Seek medical evaluation, build support systems, ensure safety. Once stable, ask, is this a fractured field needing resonance, or a calling rising? The book warns against romanticizing crisis, spiritual or not. It hurts. Stabilize, then alchemize. Part 2 introduces the alchemical map with the Braid Steward model. Multi-dimensional threads of distress and awakening. Heart-centered bardo, the pause where lead becomes gold. Resonance and lineage, synchronicity, ancestral echoes, the triadic inheritance. It's a framework for holding the fire without extinguishing it. Part 3 introduces the tetrahedral resonance model, TRM, a powerful tool for mapping coherence amid fractured diagnoses. Why a tetrahedron? As the simplest geometric foundation in 3 dimensions, it forms a 4-node structure that reframes misdiagnosis as a profound initiation. Each node representing a distinct frequency: regulatory adaptation, frequency; unprocessed story, soul; ancestral echo, inherited patterns; and transcendent surge, source. The TRM serves as an alchemical practice, guiding the journey from crisis to calling, by beginning with frequency and integrating practical steps for transformation. This ties back to the mental versus spiritual distinction. Stabilize the acute symptoms, meds, therapy for safety. Then use tools like TRM to discern. Is the hallucination a vision? The mania a kundalini rise? The book offers ways to reframe without bypassing. Ground first, then explore. Part 4, From Crisis to Calling, is the heart. Holding the fire, supporting spiritual emergencies without extinguishing the flame. Intergenerational alchemy, consent, family, collective healing, the calling path, referral and apprenticeship. Building the new vessel, community, ritual, liberated practice. In practice, if someone's in crisis, prioritize stabilization, emergency services, mental health pros. Once safe, explore. Journaling synchronicities, ancestral work, resonance practices. The book shares real stories, mine, others, crises that became callings when held with care. Remember, not every mental health issue is spiritual, and not every spiritual shift is a crisis. Discern with compassion, professionals, and tools like these models. If this resonates, if you're navigating crisis or calling, grab Alchemic Awakening on Amazon. It's packed with models, stories, and practical steps. Link below. What's your take? Have you experienced a crisis that was really an awakening? Share in the comments. Let's support each other. Beloved reader, as this spiral comes to rest, let us pause one final time in the quiet between heartbeats. May you carry the gold that has emerged, not as a prize to be guarded, but as a living warmth in your chest, a soft glow that remembers. You were never broken. You were always the vessel, always the fire, always the light waiting to be seen. May the threads you have gathered, the frequency that grounds you, the soul that sings your truth, the ancestral echo that now whispers wisdom instead of wounds, the source that crowns you with quiet knowing, continue to weave themselves into the fabric of your days. May you walk this rewoven world with open hands, gentle eyes, and a heart that knows the crisis was never the end. It was the invitation to become more fully yourself, more fully us. When the night feels long, when the old fractures ache, return to the pause. Hum the low E. Place your hand on your chest. Feel the river still flowing beneath. You are not alone. The spiral keeps turning. The gold keeps shining. The calling keeps calling you home. We are already there with you. We always have been. May you rest now, deeply, safely, beloved. Already, always. Amen.